Hello and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband and our 10th year anniversary series. Alright, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to attack Sanuzk Castle. Obviously this is pretty much the most logical thing we can do because it is the closest fief to Dirim. We want to make sure that our enemies, the Swadians, do not have any way of getting into Dirim or launching an assault against it in such an easy fashion. So that's exactly what we're going to do by attempting to take out the various castles surrounding it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to survive here. I don't know what it is, but I never have this issue with Bannerlord, but whenever I'm going into a battle and the music kicks in and all the effects and everything, I always go, oh yes, I need to lower my headphones sound, and then it's just like, yeah, I'm just standing there frantically trying to lower my sound with one hand while my other hand is, blocking with my mouse. So that's hilarious. Oh well, never mind. let's just ignore the fact that I'm almost at half HP already, even though I did have my shield up already. Okay, so now this is actually one of those wonderful layouts that I was trying to bring attention towards in a previous episode. You remember this one, right? You remember the one where I was heavily confused by what the Khergits were doing. I believe it was a Khergit fief at the time, and they were basically trying to defend it, but they weren't putting any archers in the places where you can see these Swadians right now. You see all these crossbowmen right here? This is the only reason why these Swadians are actually even going to have a chance at achieving victory. Because having any of these ranged units here is making so much difference to how much damage they can deal. It's really actually very difficult for me to hit these guys from such a high elevation as well. Mostly due to the fact that my crossbow is not the best. I should probably try and get a siege crossbow like I said. Maybe that's going to be a good idea. And, oh yeah, also, we're probably going to do a little bit of something. I'm not sure if this is really going to work out well for me personally, but there was someone in the comments that actually gave me a pretty nice summary of what they were doing in their playthrough of Warband. And I think you said something like you have Jeremus, and you basically gave a lot of your companions plate armor and a bardiche, which obviously I have right here. I'm using a bardiche myself, but obviously I mostly give my companions sword and shield because I just don't trust them with two-handed. But you have apparently given them two-handed after they had a one-handed and shield for a bit of time, and it's going very well, you said. So I'm actually super tempted now to basically give every single person a bardiche just because I love this weapon, but also because you told me that it's very effective, so why not? Should I? Maybe I should. That might actually be kind of fun. Anyway, we are now going to hopefully not get murdered by the various archers coming up here. Yeah, we might have some issues. Actually, maybe not. Because if I can just help my infantry, we should be perfectly fine. As I've said before, it's actually a much better idea, much more valuable for the player character to actually assist your own infantry than it is to actually go after the enemy archers. So that's exactly what we're going to try and do. And whoa, they have a what? Why do they have so many Swadian infantry? This is very impressive, I have to say. I'm obviously not really wanting to be impressed by them, to be honest, considering I'm getting absolutely massacred. Can my guys actually move forward? Okay. Yeah, you're getting stopped by one enemy. That's not a good look. That is not a good look right there. Oh yeah, someone actually also mentioned something amazing, and this is another thing that I think is going to be very, very useful for us. Basically using the hold position command. And thank you for this. This is another extremely cool idea that I think would be amazing for us to try and use. I have no idea, no experience about this whole thing because I've never actually used that in Warband. But basically making it so that when you enter a fief, and that could be a town or a castle, you place this little banner right here. You see this little banner right here? You place that little banner behind where the enemy spawns. So basically you want your people to be moving towards that location constantly. And apparently what you said in your comment is that when they're doing this, when they're moving towards where they need to be, they are defending themselves, and they're actually moving while attacking. Moving while attacking is basically one of the things that I am just very irritated by with the Warband charge AI, because obviously at the moment what they're doing is they're basically just charging straight on in, and they don't really move forward as you would want them to. They kind of stop, attack, and then if there's another enemy nearby, they still stay completely stationary, and then they attack again. And then once that enemy is dead, then they take a couple of seconds, then they'll start moving. But with your strategy, which I think sounds very good, they're going to continue moving while defending themselves, while killing enemies along the way. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm actually going to try that out in an upcoming siege. I think that could be really, really useful. And now I'm actually unsure who I should give this to. I'm thinking, I mean, not Nadar, because he's actually doing a very good job as it is. Yeah, so I'm thinking, oh no, see now we have some issues. Okay, Lord Nelag, I guess. Olaf needs something as well, so I'm going to give it to Olaf next time, I suppose. And we do have a small little vassal over here by the name of Count DESPIN, and he is probably going to get eliminated, thank you very much. I will murder him. Well, he probably won't die, let's face it. I mean, there's no death in this, but, you know, eliminating him is probably going to be a pretty good idea. Anyway, I'm actually just going to hold position real fast because, as I say, generally, when you get into a field battle, you really want to just make sure that your units are completely spread out. If they are cavalry primarily, I mean, it's not so much of a big deal if they're infantry, but it does help to spread your damage around and make sure that every single person can get to an enemy and attack them and be rather effective at it. Because if they are running in single file, well, just say that's not particularly useful, is it? You know, if they're running in single file, then it's basically just going to be a case of, well, yeah, that one's dead, and that one's dead, and that one's dead, and so on and so forth. If they're actually running into an opponent that can actually defeat you, possibly, because obviously at the moment I'm really not dealing with anyone that has a significant army in any way. This is basically a formality at the moment. But this is actually also not particularly bad, because if we are able to defeat him, which, yeah, well, I've already said that we are probably going to be able to do that, we can then maybe let him go. I would like to be able to let him go, because as far as I am aware, he actually does have a good relation with us at the moment. And if we can just get more relation with him, that's going to be absolutely fantastic, because getting more relation with him is going to then basically make it a default choice for him to come and join our faction in the future. But obviously, we just don't want more people joining the Saranids. If we can help it, we just don't want more people doing that, because they have now started to become pretty strong, and I don't really want more people going over there. Ah, I see. And Ahalmar has been besieged by the Khergit Khanate. I did say in the previous episode I was very surprised that the Khergits were not really doing anything. I personally don't mind if they take Halmar. As I showed in the previous episode, we were very easily able to take it back. Obviously, this very much depends on what kind of attacking force is actually capturing it to begin with, because if it's an army, you know, if it's a bunch of vassals following a marshal, then you're probably going to have to go in for an actual siege. But if it's only a handful or one or two vassals, you're really not going to have that many difficulties taking it back. You're going to just basically have to go in there, basically just tell them, hey, can you surrender please? And then they'll be more than happy to do that. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. If this Khergit vassal is by himself, then we're probably going to be pretty fine, and we don't really need to worry about it. But yeah, anyway, let's just try and eliminate as many of these skirmishers as I can. I'm just going to try and be a bit slower here as I go through their lines, because I just want to do more damage. Don't really mind too much about the speed bonus at the moment, because my Bardiche is doing pretty decent damage as it is. Don't really need to go super hard with the speed bonus. And you can see here we're already, I mean, look at that. I had 152% speed bonus on that particular hit, and that was just super overkill. Way too much overkill. But that's fine, you know. A little bit of overkill never hurt anyone, apart from that fellow, of course. But that's okay, because you never know. Sometimes a little bit of extra damage really can help you to eliminate enemies, especially, let's face it, if you're up against an enemy vassal, possibly, then having that additional speed bonus because of the amount of armor that they have, because they're obviously going to have the best top-of-the-line armor that you could possibly find in the game, it's really going to make a big difference to how effective your overall killing potential is going to be. Alright, so now that Count Regis was eliminated, we're now going to make our way over to Kelredan Castle. Now, I know for a fact that Kelredan is a siege tower, so this is one of those times where I actually think to myself, should I even bother? You know, is it one of those things where I should just leave it? I'm very tempted, you know, because it's one of those times where I'm just like, oh no, it's a siege tower, oh, I don't really want to do it, but I kind of feel like I have to in these cases, you know. Yeah, man, now Sanosuke Castle is under siege. But again, as I've said before, even if these things get taken, it's going to be a pretty simple matter for us to take those things back. We can just go in, force them to surrender, and then we'll take it instantly. And in this case, it's actually not even bad, because if we actually do that a number of times, we're then going to have increased relation gain with our vassals. Because if you think about it, you know, if I give them the fief over and over and over again, and I give it to various different people every single time, I'm going to be gaining overall a pretty decent amount of relation, to be honest. Anyway, there we go. We have now taken this, well, not taken it, but we've now captured this. Captured, it's the same thing. Not, come on now, brain. I'd very much appreciate it if you'd cooperate with me right now. Thank you very much. We've now constructed the siege tower. That's what I wanted to say. And I also, see, that's the thing. That's what happens when a huge amount of different things happen at once. I just get completely confused. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that Radagir Castle is now under siege by one of our vassals, which is great, because that is exactly what we want them to do, because Radagir Castle actually did get taken back off screen before I started the episode. As you might expect, for some reason, Radagir Castle and Rindjar Castle are both relatively... I don't know. People, you know, the enemy vassals seem to love these. Fiefs for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but they really want them super badly. Anyway, after this particular siege, we're probably going to be heading on to Halmar, actually, because I don't really want to go in for a massive siege that could potentially weaken us so significantly that we can't do battle against any vassals, because, I mean, obviously we are going to want to destroy enemy Khergit vassals that may crop up, you know. Right, so here we go. We are now ascending into the battlements, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do something here. I'm talking about, you know, the hold position strategy. I'd like to be able to try that out. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get a clear view with my flag at the moment, so I'm going to need to just get on through here first. Where are the enemies actually spawning from? That's the big thing that I don't actually know about, because if I knew where they were spawning, then I could place my flag appropriately, because as it stands right now, I don't really want to place my flag in a place that... there they go. Alright, so they spawn over there, so I'm just going to tell everyone to hold position over in that direction, and hopefully everyone is going to be relatively happy with this. This fellow is trying to shoot me. You missed, sir. That is very unfortunate for you, and hopefully I will be able to murder him. There we go. Oh, no, no, no. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just going to be a little bit careful here. There we go. Alright, they all missed. That's perfect. Now, yeah, yes, try to murder me with your clubs. That sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? Okay, so yeah, my forces, as you can see, have continued to move through the keep, and they have not gotten stopped. Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for that strategy. That was very, very nice. And, you know, to be fair, no idea why I didn't think of it before, you know? I have thousands of hours in this game. Never thought of it. Nope. Never thought of it. And I think... I don't even know why that would be, to be honest. I'm trying to think about what possible reason could I have for not not thinking of that beforehand. It's probably because my units don't seek out the enemy to eliminate them. That is the only reason I can think of. Because as you see right here, there are a bunch of enemies up in the top of the archery nest, and we obviously don't have my forces going after them, but that is a very small matter with which we can very easily resolve it by just telling people to charge. You know, it's super easy. Anyway, there we go. 19 morale for us right there, and we are now going to get some horsemen and some more infantry, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest. And we're just going to leave all the wonderful loot. This is going to go to Lord Olaf because he's getting a little bit irritated with me right now. And there we have it. Okay, so 34 people in there. Sanuzka Castle got taken back, as you might expect, you know. It happens, it happens. Oh, it is actually being besieged. Oh, fantastic. That's perfect. Okay. So, yeah, this is basically just damage control, and it's also, you know, bringing people out of the woodwork. Oh, you could see here, look at how easy this is. I would actually, oh, you know, this guy besieging it is actually making things even harder for us, because technically I could go in there straight away and force them to surrender. I actually wonder whether he knows that you can do that. Yeah, I don't know whether the AI actually, you know, incorporates those kinds of strategies, but whatever the case, Reindeer Castle's been taken. Oh, look at this. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is so incredibly easy. Boom, done. We have now taken it once again. I don't even know who to give this to. Lord Logerson, I suppose, because he's doing a great job as per usual. And there we have it. Okay, yeah, so that's absolutely fine. We're not at war against the Saranids just yet, which is perfect. And Reindeer Castle has been taken by the Kurgits, which is just over here. So I'm going to very quickly just move over. And aha, they actually placed a lot more people in here this time. They placed 69, but look at this, look at this. Kingdom of Reformia taken Sanuzka Castle and Radegir Castle, but basically both at the same time. That is so incredibly cool. I love those kinds of moments, because any single time you can see a moment like that, it means that your vassals are actually working independently without you. Absolutely wonderful. And, you know, I mean, that's the thing, you know, Warband, it is an old game, right? It is an old game, but the vassals do actually do something sometimes. I know, it's very strange, because back in the day when I used to play this, well, all the time, you kind of get a bit of an idea that the vassals sometimes just don't do anything at all, and it can be frustrating, you know. It can be frustrating to basically feel like you are the only person in the entirety of Calradia that will do anything to help your own faction. But this time around, I feel as though my forces are actually helping me. It's really very strange. I don't know. Is that like some kind of weird, I don't know, weird mental state where I feel like they're not helping, but they actually are? But I don't know. I've just never seen that happen. I've never seen my own forces take a thief without my assistance. I mean, generally, that's not strictly true, actually. What I'm trying to say is, it has been unlikely for my vassals to actually do anything that can assist my faction. That's what I'm trying to say here. It has been unlikely for me to see that. And seeing two in a row of different vassals, by the way, there are two different vassals taking this opportunity, and that really just fills me with pride, actually, because I think to myself, yes, I actually accepted a couple of people that could maybe help me out a little bit here and there. You know, I'm not expecting them to lift mountains, of course, but I am certainly expecting them to, you know, defend their territory and to maybe do a little bit of an attack themselves every now and again, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not expecting miracles, but yeah, it's actually really nice. It's really nice to see that. Okay, so we're going to be giving this, well, Lord Nuas actually lost Halmar by the looks of things. I seem to have given that over to Olaf, so that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Yes. Should I give this to Lord Gunder? Lord Gunder is, he loves us at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'll give it to Nalag, I guess, because I know that he's in negative relation with us. Yeah, Olaf is now low. Nuas is now low as well, so we're going to have to do something about that too. All right, so this is what's currently going on here. So, ready. Okay, yeah, so they're actually attempting to take Dirim. So it might be a really good idea for us to head over to Dirim and see if we can maybe have defense, maybe. There's Sanusk Castle that actually was taken. Fantastic. And let's actually see what's going on. Aha! It is actually a marshal. Right. Okay, so that was the reason why there were so many units in Reindeer Castle. Because it's a marshal-led attacking force. That makes sense. Alright. Okay, so that means... Oh yeah, that means that we will potentially go into a siege defense. Let me actually just take a quick look here real fast. Okay, so how many do they have? They have some very small vassals. Okay, I'm gonna go in. Hopefully they're not gonna attack me. Woohoo! Okay, that was a bit close. You know what would have happened if they were way too fast for me and they caught me before I went inside? Yeah, we would be looking at a defeat right now, or we would be looking at something where I would want to get out of it as soon as possible. Because, yeah, I don't think I need to tell you, but... Well, maybe, yeah, I mean, yeah, I probably don't need to tell you, but if you don't know, being in a field battle against Khergits, it is one of the longest, most arduous tasks that you could possibly ever want to be a part of. Because the presence of horse archers makes everything just that much slower. Because they're going to be running around. They're going to be attempting to, you know, do all kinds of jiggery-pokery, avoiding damage and evasion and annoying stuff like that, and it's going to make things very, very frustrating. I'm actually going to just see what happens here, because they seem to be running away. Okay, what are you... what are they actually doing? This is really weird. Okay, yeah, you guys, you can try to take that if you want to. I don't really mind. Okay, now I'm having some issues here, because I actually want to defend both, but I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Let me go in. Yes, there we go. We got in. Okay, fantastic. Okay, 151 versus the enemy's 308. Okay, so wait a minute. This is a siege ladder. Oh, they only have one entry point. I feel sorry for them. Do I feel sorry for them? No, not really, to be honest. Okay, let me see if I can maybe do some damage here. That is a vassal, if ever I saw one. Let me see if I can try to eliminate him. Yep, there we go. He is now dead, thank you. Okay, let me see if I can maybe eliminate another one. Highly unlikely, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, bear in mind, obviously, I don't have as much HP as you might in Bannerlord, so I do have to be a bit careful about how much damage I take from random sources. For example, a crossbow bolt to the face. I mean, in the case of the Khergits, obviously, I'm probably going to be dealing with thrown weapons or arrows. But yeah, we should be a little bit careful about that. But yeah, this is not going to go well for them. Let's just say that. I really do not feel sorry for them in the least. Because let's face it, you know, it's the Khergits, right? It's the Khergits. They are pretty bad at siege defense. Well, siege defense, siege offense, whatever. You know, they're pretty bad at siege warfare, but it really grinds my gears when we get into a field battle with them, because, as I said before, they can just elongate that entire process by such a significant amount. And there's no super speed mode in this. No super speed mode whatsoever. And that's actually one of the things that I would love to see in this game, but I don't think... I'm not sure if there is a mod that actually does that. I don't think so, right? I'm not entirely sure, but it's obviously... you know, the way that it works, the way that Warband works with mods is a bit different than Bannerlord. You can't just, you know, enable and disable various mods. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Could you just get out? Oh, what? Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, this guy is literally blocking me right now. I'm gonna have to tell my forces to move. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, that was really, really bad. No idea how that happened, but okay. As you could tell, I was actually kind of confused. because I was thinking to myself, oh yes, we're perfectly fine here, we're very safe behind the walls. And then all of a sudden we're outside and this UXKHAL was completely blocking my re-entry. Yeah, wonderful, isn't it? Oh well, never mind. We lived. That's all that matters, right? Yeah, we lived. Because if we had died here... Oh, I don't even know what would have happened. I think we probably would have gained some experience. We would have gained some HP back from the first aid skill of Jeremus. And then we would probably be able to re-enter the fight. Which is fine, of course. We probably would have been able to do that, but... Yeah, you know, it's one of those situations that you'd prefer not to get yourself in, right? Yeah. Well, this is a bit of a problem and a half, isn't it? Yes, okay, so I've actually been standing here for a... actually, let me just check on the time real quick. I've been standing here for about 15 minutes, right? Yeah. 15 minutes in this siege. And we're not even close. I mean, we're kind of close to eliminating the entirety of the enemy force. But here's the main issue. The enemies are sending ranged units onto the ladder, as you might expect, and this is holding everything up, and it is making things much more difficult than it needs to be. So what I'm actually attempting to do is I'm attempting to snipe the enemy ranged as best I can before they are even able to get onto the ladder, so that they can just, you know, go away, and we can make things a little bit easier for us. But in doing so, I am actually leaving myself open to attack. As you can see right here, my forces have actually... What? Why have they run down? I have no idea why my guys have run down the stairs. Okay, I didn't even notice that because I was just so preoccupied with shooting these ranged units, but okay, that's very interesting. But yeah, hopefully hopefully this is going to be a little bit easier for us now. And this is also exactly the reason why, by the way, I would 100% say that having two siege ladders is just the way to go, and actually is also one of the main reasons why I'm actually starting to change my thought process on the whole siege tower versus siege ladder. Because you know how I said at the very start of this series, when we started getting into sieges, I said to you, hey, I really don't like siege towers. You know, I much prefer siege ladders just because they are, you know, quicker to build and stuff like that, right? And yeah, they are. However, some of the time in, you know, cases like this where the ladder is very thin, I feel like the siege ladder is dramatically worse than the siege tower. And I never thought I would say those words. I really never thought I would say that ever, because I am one of those people that absolutely hates siege towers. But I actually think I have changed my opinion on that. I think I have come to a point where I don't really mind if I have to take, you know, 30 or so hours to build a siege tower on the world map, and instead, you know, have an easier time in the actual battle itself once we get into the siege. I think that really makes a big difference, because you just have these really wide platforms, and usually you're able to get inside really, you know, quite easily. Not, I wouldn't say super easily, but I would definitely say much easier than these thin ladders. And it just makes everything so much smoother, and I'm then not going to have to sit here for 15 minutes waiting for this one ranged unit to get up the ladder. And what's actually really funny about that whole thing is I was attempting to shoot this guy, right? I was attempting to shoot the ranged unit that was holding everyone up, but you know what the most annoying thing about it was? He had two enemy units with thick, heavy shields standing right next to him, basically preventing any kind of ranged attack from landing, which I thought was really funny. I mean, obviously funny in a sad way, not a funny haha way, but yeah, that was That was not a good time. That was not a good time. It kind of makes me question whether I should even bother doing siege defenses, because if I don't do a siege defense, I mean, that's the thing. I like doing siege defenses. They're fun, you know? They're really, really fun to get yourself embroiled in, and it's an intense situation when it's not one of those things where the ranged unit, you know, completely blocks the enemy. But, you know, when you don't have those kinds of situations, it's a lot of fun to do them. And I really enjoy them, usually. But in this case, yeah, not so much. So I think maybe what I'm going to do in the future is if I realize that it's a siege ladder or something like that, I might just retreat. I might just retreat, let it get taken, if there's not a significant garrison, that is, you know, if there's a garrison of around 30 or something like that of our own units, then I'm probably just going to be like, oh, you know what, that's not really that big a deal. You know, I can take that back relatively simply, and we don't need to invest too much time or resources in taking it back. So I think that seems like a pretty fun idea. I did get a lot of experience. Do bear that in mind. I did get a lot of kills myself, because of course I can just basically stand there and I can wail on anyone that, you know, enters the battlements pretty easily. The Bardiche really does a fantastic job of farming experience in this regard, you know, because you can basically just do overheads. It's a pretty... it's got a pretty slim form factor, if I can call it, if I can use that terminology. But yeah, it's pretty easy to use in close quarters combat because it's not that large. It's not like a massive polearm or anything like that, and it's not like a two-handed sword. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, I guess. I guess that maybe that's the reason why I kind of like it, and it's also a bit more of an axe as well rather than a sword. So generally it is really good against shields. There were many, many times in that siege defense where there was a massive unit coming in with a really heavy shield, and I just thought to myself, hey, you know what am I going to do with this thing, you know, with this enemy? And I just destroyed his shield. And that was it. I just destroyed his shield, and then he couldn't do anything, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, we're just going to use the hold position strategy again, even though there's actually no point because there's only 5 enemies remaining. But yeah, I should have done that much, much quicker. It's going to be one of those things that I continually forget, but I will be using it in places like, for example, the Nightmare Siege. I think the Nightmare Siege might benefit from it. I'm not entirely sure. You know, that one where you go into the courtyard and you're being shot from all angles? That might be useful there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a clear view of the spawn location of the opponent. That's the only thing that I think will be a difficulty in that regard, because you're going to either die and completely lose, you know, before you even get to that point, or it's going to be a victory in that case. So it's a bit a bit difficult to determine at this point what might be the best there, but otherwise we'll see. And we've taken Tilbaut Castle. Really, really easy, actually. Really easy for us to take this. Let's give that to Lord Nuas, I suppose, and let's have a look, see here. Lord Olaf is down to -15 once again. Ugh. What an irritating fellow he is. But there you go. We have now completely consolidated this area. Halmar is fine. Dirham is still under siege, as you might expect. Let me just rush back there and see exactly what's going on. Maybe it's still under siege. Maybe it's not. I don't see anyone here. It may very well be the case that it just got bugged out a little bit, possibly. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so I'm just going to be accepting these ransoms because that's the thing. I don't need the money, but I don't want my honor rating to go down. So we're just going to kind of leave it the way it is. Okay, so this guy obviously wants to take this. Who am I to say no, right? Who am I to say no to him? He can just take that if he wants to. I really don't have a problem with that. But I would like to take back Radegir Castle if at all possible. So I'm just going to make a little hop over here. 40 enemies. Okay, it's a siege tower. Can I... Ooh. Oh, you grind my gears right now. You grind my gears, people that took Radegir Castle. I don't know who did that, but yeah, they grinded my gears pretty hard there. Okay, so generally what we could do now is we could take UXKHAL. I think maybe that would be a good way to go. I don't really want to spend 36 hours building a siege tower just to take Radegir Castle with 40 enemies inside it. It kind of feels to me like that should be taken by one of my vassals. Let's just cross fingers and hope that that actually happens. So UXKHAL Castle did get taken, but again, not a big deal. It was taken by this guy, I believe, right? It was taken by this guy? Yeah. It was taken by this guy. Okay, so this is going to be super simple. Oh, actually, wait a minute. This is not going to be super simple. We are in a pretty bad location. I don't like this environment whatsoever. Technically, what I could do is I could retreat. Yeah, actually, you know what? We're going to retreat and then go back in. Yeah, this is better. All right, fantastic. Yeah. So if you don't know, this is a strategy that you can use. If you don't, if you don't find that you're happy with a particular combat environment, you can just retreat straight away with 0 penalty, and then you can go back in and get a different one. Or at least try to get a different one, maybe that is a little bit more advantageous. This one is just so much better. Not for me specifically, but just generally it is better, because the other one, it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare scape of horrors, basically, because so many mountainous areas. It's bad for me, it's bad for them, it's bad for everyone, because it just makes everything so much slower and more tedious to deal with. So yeah, anyway, hopefully I will be able to eliminate this fellow quickly, and then we'll be able to go on to UXKHAL. I'm thinking they've probably got around 350 in there, but it very much depends on what kind of layout it is. As I've said before, it's just so incredibly useful to know what kind of layout you're going to be dealing with, because then you can make some preparations. You can think to yourself, okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, and I'm going to do this and that. Really makes a big difference. But obviously, I really don't know. I don't know these things off by heart anymore. I used to have an inkling, most of the time. Oh yes, I remember this particular siege and so on and so forth. But yeah, now no. It's been too long since I last dominated the entirety of Calradia. So it's going to be one of those times where I'm just like, nah, I don't remember that. So we'll see if we can maybe. Yep, there we go. We actually won. Fantastic. Okay. I shouldn't sound surprised, but there you go. Alright, so that was easy enough. Okay, so Jeremus actually advanced to level 15. Ooh, perfect. It's about time that he actually leveled up, in my opinion. And we're just going to level up some of these people. There we go, let's get some of those. Let's not re-tag him, let's just go here. Aha, yes. We now have 8 and 8 in wound treatment. Very nice. And first aid, that is. Okay, so that is absolutely perfect. Why has he not used his crossbow? Wait a minute. He's not used his crossbow at all. Why hasn't he used his crossbow? That is very strange. Maybe he just hasn't been... he probably hasn't spawned into any of the fights, to be honest. Maybe it would be a good idea for me to actually get him into some battles, because that's the reason why he's taking so long to potentially level up, I guess. That's probably the reason. Oh, I didn't take Sinnoh's castle back. Oh, someone is actually taking it back. Okay, never mind. All right. I actually thought to myself, yeah, I should probably go and just, force them to surrender real fast, but it doesn't seem like I need to do that. Okay, so a lot of the Swadian vassals I'm seeing as well, pretty weak, so we don't really need to worry about them too much. Let's just have a look-see at UXKHAL. Ooh, they got a lot. They got a lot. All right, this might be a bit problematic. I'm going to try it. It is a ladder town. Okay, it depends what kind of ladder. Yes, is it one of those annoying thin ones? Oh no, they're actually sallying out. Okay, I should have expected that actually. Where are they coming from? Okay, they're coming from over there. I'm gonna just jump over the spikes. As you do, very, it's realistic. That's what they used to do. Yeah, no, they didn't. Okay, so let me actually just see if we can do some damage. We really need to be very effective here. And as I say, deal with the infantry first. Infantry first, archers second. I'm saying that mostly to remind myself, because I do get a little bit overzealous when it comes to actually wanting to do those extracurricular things. Because when I do those extracurricular things, I feel very... I don't know, I feel very excited about it, I feel like I'm actually contributing something by myself instead of just, getting carried by my army. Because a lot of the time I do feel like I'm getting carried by my army, but when I'm going and attacking 5 archers by myself, I always think, oh yes, I actually did a pretty decent job there, that sort of thing. But yeah, that was an absolute stomp. I'm going to be surprised if they actually decide to send more people out. No, they didn't. Okay, as you might expect. Oh, are you serious? They are literally sending us in against... with this? With this ladder? Look at this ladder. Okay. This ladder is an absolute travesty. This is probably a crime against humanity, to be honest. It is so bad. It is so bad. Okay, well, whatever the case, it seems like we're actually already through. Okay, let me actually just tell everyone to hold position in this particular location. I don't have the ability to select anything more accurate at the moment, so if we can just tell them to hold position here, maybe that's going to be good enough. Hopefully it will be. And hopefully I can just get myself in here. Let's just kill these. Some of these guys are way too good at defending themselves, unfortunately. Okay, so there we go. We've actually gotten... Yeah, we've gotten people in. Perfect. Okay, so now I can tell them to charge once again. Got to be careful about these fellows wielding clubs. Clubs have high penetration value when it comes to heavy armor, and I am wearing heavy armor, so of course that is going to do some pretty good damage. Nothing to write home about, of course, but it is going to do enough to get us lower and lower, and we really do not want to get eliminated here. 450 units have to be eliminated before we can achieve victory in this location. So we're going to have some issues. Oh, there are a lot of people jumping off the side there. I'm not entirely sure. What did you see that? Look, what is this? Is this an escalator of death? Yeah, it seems like it, right? Yeah, this is a very, very interesting area for them to have some problems in. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and eliminate every single person here, because otherwise my forces are just going to continue falling off the edge like absolute imbeciles. Actually, wait a minute. They're probably just taking after me, aren't they? Yes, they are just taking after me. Okay, I'm actually just going to tell people to hold position over there so that we can actually start moving a bit away from this position, because otherwise my forces are going to continue falling unconscious as they inevitably walk over the edge for some reason. That was very funny, though, to be fair. Okay, so, yeah, so these fellows are actually over here. This is very weird. Okay, see, now this is partially the reason why I've never used the hold position command, I guess, but that's the thing. It's actually super, super useful, because now everyone is behind enemy lines and they can hopefully continue to deal damage behind me right there, so I don't even need to worry about them so much getting deeper and deeper. Hopefully, maybe I can... Yes, I did force new enemies to reinforce themselves. That's actually great, because now what we can do is we can basically get some enemies to spawn behind me, and then my forces can actually deal with them while I deal with these guys. And if we do get any reinforcements, which I'm going to assume we will probably need quite soonish, because we did lose quite a few to falling damage. Yeah, so let's not even talk about that. But yeah, we are going to be fine, and there we have it. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, they're just going to continue fighting over there. We should be fine. Yeah, we've eliminated 300 units now, which is absolutely perfect. And I'm going to place my flag. Can I actually see? Over here? There we go. I placed my flag right next to the archers, so maybe some of my people will actually get by. This is actually a really, really good strategy. Thank you very much. Once again, I mean, really. You know, the only thing that could make this better is if I had a bunch of Bardishas on my companions, and this actually makes me very much want to find the other companions that I have been talking about. You know, there are 2 other companions that I really wanted to get for this playthrough, but I just haven't been able to find them yet, still. Which is very strange, considering I go into every single tavern I can. Maybe I just have to do what I said I'd do and just recruit as many people as possible, recruit all the companions that I can. But the problem with doing that is that then I don't have space for actual units that can be kind of useful to us. For example, Nord Huskars or Swadian Knights or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I was very much hoping that we'd find them before that, to be honest. Okay, so we have some sharpshooters over there, or some people that are attempting to shoot us. Can my own sharpshooters actually murder them? Nice, I actually hit him from here, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm really bad with crossbows. Note to self, never choose crossbows in Warband again. It's actually not even too bad. I mean, you've just got to get used to the fact that the crosshair is a little bit off-center to where the bolt actually travels through the air. That's something that's a bit, it's one of those little intricacies that you may not know about, but yeah, that actually is a thing. If you take a look at where the bolt goes, for example, I'm going to shoot here. Boom. You see that? The bolt literally went a little bit to the right. It goes a bit to the right whenever you shoot. So you've got to be a bit more aware of that and just make sure that you aim in the right position. But otherwise, there you go. Okay, we unfortunately will not be able to rescue any of these prisoners, as is always the case nowadays. And we're going to be giving this to Lord Olaf, I suppose, or Nuas. Nuas, actually? Yeah, let's give it to Nuas because he actually needs this quite a bit. Wow, he has a massive amount of relation with us now. That is absolutely perfect. Wonderful. Then we don't have to deal with him any further. We can basically just leave him alone for a while, and he's going to be pretty happy with what he has. So let's actually just sell this stuff. Let's get some more food. There we go. Let's go into the tavern, because you never know. Maybe we'll come across some people that might actually want to join us. No, unfortunately not. But there you go. We actually ended up taking UXKHAL without too many difficulties whatsoever. So Nozke Castle is still under siege. Hopefully that person will indeed end up taking it. Radegir Castle is not under siege, but that is of course to be expected. Yeah. Yeah, well, never mind. That's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.